Welcome back, everyone, for another book review. I saved the best for last out of this sprint of books. I say it's the best for last, but that is because I am biased and I love this series. And if Deborah Harkness freaking loves any of us, I really want a Philippe Isabeau love story so badly. What else could I be talking about but the fifth book in the All Souls trilogy, The Blackbird Oracle? When the announcement that this was happening came out, I might have lost my ish. I did lose my ish. Let's be honest. I love Matthew and Diana. Something that I've talked about before that with some friends, not necessarily. I may have mentioned it in a book review video at some point. I have this thing that I know I loved a book series if I feel that I want to write an original character for the universe, or if I don't feel the call to write an original character for the universe. I have never felt that way about V.E. Schwab's Shades of Magic trilogy. I still don't feel that way about the Threads of Power trilogy that is now the sequel series. However, I do have an original character for Deborah's All Souls trilogy. I currently have, just kind of shamelessly plug for about 5 seconds, or a little bit more. I have a story called Warning Signs, or Warning Sign on my Ward's Girl Archive of Our Own profile. And it is the story of if Diana didn't have the twins, everything happens in the original 3 books and in the show other than the twins. That is the only thing that I have left out. And the marriage does not happen. But Philippe does take her as his, Diana as his bloodsworn daughter. So Matthew and Diana don't get married in the essence of what happens in the show and the books. And so we have Rhiannon. Rhiannon is Galaglass's baby sister, who is actually a witch, and she is an immortal witch, and her and Matthew have been together since she was an adult. So she grew up with a family, and Jabert, it's not the first time Jabert has had a witch kidnap another witch, with a Satu Diana thing. He's also done it to Rhiannon, and him and a coven of witches cursed her. So yeah, I created an OC for that. She's been used for other things. A friend and I write, and we have her with Ransom Drysdale actually, and then one of my friends' OCs, which is a female character in that situation, where it's in the All Souls trilogy universe, but like divergent from it in that essence. So yes, Deborah inspired a whole entire OC with this series, and it's totally okay. I love it. Fan fiction is the best thing in the whole entire world to write, and I enjoy writing it. And so I have actually been able to spring some new encouragement from this, which is fantastic. And I actually also mentally came up with another OC while reading this that is actually related to Diana, on the family side in this. So yeah, that may or may not come to fruition in the story. We'll find out eventually, because right now the focus on my fan fictions right now is to finish Predators and Prey first, because Hannibal and Will are having a fight in my head right now, and it's been really bad. But digressing, getting back to the Blackbird Oracle. I'm not gonna lie, I now want an Oracle deck. Deborah Harkness, I don't care. I need you to get with someone and create us a Blackbird Oracle to go with this book. I'm just saying. I need to see what this Oracle deck actually freaking looks like. You also note that this book has been tabbed. Purple is for any of the females in the storyline that just had a really good moment, and then blue is the guys. Baldwin actually has a couple that are marked in this, because Baldwin has actually redeemed his ass, in my opinion. So am I secretly a Baldwin lover? Not so secretly. I love Baldwin. I think he's fantastic. So anyways, here we go. I want to give y'all the blurb, as always. Deborah Harkness first introduced the world to Diana Bishop, an Oxford scholar and witch and vampire geneticist Matthew de Clermont, in A Discovery of Witches. Drawn to each other despite long-standing taboos, the two otherworldly beings found themselves at the center of a battle for a lost enchanted manuscript known as Ashmole's 782. Since then, they have fallen in love, time traveled to Elizabethan England, dissolved the covenant between the three species, and awoken the dark powers within Diana's family line. Now, Diana and Matthew receive a formal demand from the congregation. They must test the magic of their 7-year-old twins, Pip and Rebecca. Concerned with their safety and desperate to avoid the same fate that led her parents to spellbind her, Diana decides to forge a different path for her family's future and answers a message from a great aunt she never knew existed, Gwyneth Proctor, whose invitation simply reads, "It's time you came home, Diana." On the hallowed ground of Ravenswood, the Proctor family home, and under the tutelage of Gwyneth, a talented witch grounded in higher magic, a new era begins for Diana, a confrontation with her family's dark past and a reckoning with her own desire for even greater power, if she can finally let go of her fear of wielding it. The path Diana finds at Ravenswood will lead to the most consequential moments yet in the cherished series. In the stunning new novel, grand in scope, Deborah Harkness deepens the beloved world of All Souls with powerful new magic and long-hidden secrets. When I tell you this just reaffirmed how much I want an Isabeau and Philippe love story book, Deborah, I'm not joking. I will continue to tag you in these things until I get my Isabeau and Philippe freaking backstory. Because I have this thing. So if you've read the series, I'm going to put up a spoiler warning thing here. Do not pass go. Editing Trula is going to put this in for you guys. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You skip to the next section because this is my theory of why Isabeau keeps herself secluded at Septors. So you got a few seconds. Inserting the thing now. Okay, my theory, based on what I remember reading in the original series, the original first 4 books. Isabeau was tortured by the vampire who made her and the siblings that he created, and caged. Philippe, when he rescued her and married her, God love Philippe. Perfect dad in some essences in this series, compared to Diana's father, which we will get to a little later in this conversation. He lets her go whenever she feels the need to leave Septors. He never insists that she has to stay home. So when he died, Septors became the only place she could be close to him. And so she cages herself in that fucking house. That fucking gorgeous grand-ass house that is haunted by Philippe's ghost. Both figuratively within her mind and actually literally, as we all know, from Diana. Because we all know Emily and Philippe are there in the book series. So, yeah. There we go. End of my theory there, and why I really need Deborah to fucking write this freaking series about. I need them. I'm sorry. I love Matthew and Diana, but I am not sorry at the same time because Philippe and Isabeau. Like, reading the books has been fantastic. I love that we have now kind of shifted a little bit in the series with the way we kind of do everything. But reading the series, reading this book in particular, and then reading the and then watching the show and watching kind of the letter that Philippe writes to her and leaves in the book spine, and she finds it. Just that scene just kills me. So anyways, back to the Blackbird Oracle. I thoroughly have enjoyed this. This picks up when the kids are 7 years old. So it's been 7. We were celebrating birthday number 1 in All Souls trilogy in the time convert, whatever it is. That was first birthday, if I remember correctly. So it's been 6 years ish since we've seen Matthew and Diana. So we've had a 6-year-ish time jump. And honestly, I love it. They're spending time in the States at this point, and I think actually one of my first flags is like right about there. Hang on. It is. Okay. Crap, where is it? I think it's actually the whole page that I kind of crap. I can't remember what I meant to mark on this page now. I feel horrible. But like it's just there's so many good moments through this, and like I said, I didn't heavy mark this book. Like I marked things that like I found really great in this book. And if you watched the theory section, if you did not, I want to be very clear. I hate Diana's father in this. I hate him. I absolutely hate him. And her mother tries to explain in a way towards the end of the story, and I just don't agree with it. And I'm not blaming Deborah for that at all. If writing for her is anything like it is for me, my characters, once they're in my head and I'm working with them, they make all their decisions. I'm just the one writing it all down. I'm not the person coming up with the plot line. I have this distinct issue with like when I'm writing specific things. I have books that I'm working on and that I hope to eventually have published, and one of them in particular is in my Werewolves of London book series that I'm working on, and she's vocal. They're all vocal, but her in particular, the young female in the family, is very vocal about things. And so I feel like that's how Diana's mom, Rebecca, felt. And I have no doubts in that that's how mom felt. But there is a lot to be said about dad in this book. Like, I spent so much of this book being angry at her father for her. And that probably says a lot about my own daddy issues, but, you know, we're there. So I spent most of this book hating Daddy Proctor. Like, Diana's dad could go... He's already dead in the book series, but, like, if he wasn't, I would literally say go off and jump off a cliff and die. Like, literally, that's how I felt. I also had these moments where I was, like, hopeful that, like, okay, Matthew, I get it's been, like, 7 years since all this stuff happened, and, like, y'all haven't had to be all badass, and you're like, we get to be normal and very domestically fluff. I was really hoping. I was gonna hope. I was like, please still be the badass man that, like, you know, understands your wife has boundaries and you need to be respectful of those. I was not disappointed there. Matthew de Claremont continues to raise the level of bars of which I hold men to astoundingly higher than what they already are. I apologize for nothing. So yeah, it's been quite the series to read, in my opinion. And I love the little things that, like, I've picked up. One in particular, and I don't think this one's going to ruin the plot line. I gotta find it because this is specifically related to our dear Baldwin, because I was very excited when Baldwin showed up. I marked it. I know I marked it with a blue. Come on. Or maybe I switched it and I'm like, blue is de Claremont. Hang on. I know it's here. When did he show up? Is it like towards the back of the book? Oh, here it is. And I just want to be clear, we all know that the Bishop House has its own wards and stuff like that, but it doesn't keep vampires out. Ravenswood is not that way. Ravenswood be a finicky little property, and I love this part. Why didn't you let Matthew's brother in the house, Julie? Gwyneth asked. He can't be comfortable out there in the heat. I tried, Julie replied. We all tried, even Pip, but the wards won't budge. Baldwin says he doesn't mind and that working outside reminds him of his days in the Roman army. He's been telling me about the Macedonian wars, and I'm just like, Sir, you had such contempt for witches. Things have changed a lot in 7 years, sir. And it just makes me love him more as a character. And I love Baldwin to begin with, and it's always been that way. And then my other favorite part that I have marked was an Isabeau comment. Where is it? Here it is. And again, the Baldwin thing is much later in the book. This one's a little bit earlier, still in like the first 200 pages. Actually, it's page 151. And they're talking about Matthew and her calling Diana bring Matthew to Salem, essentially, to be with her at the Proctor family home and everything. And she's they're talking about that, and talking about it. And if you know, Matthew's a member of the Lazarus knighthood and everything. As for Matthew, he's a knight and must have a quest, Isabeau continued. He's been researching Salem, I told her. That won't engage him for long, Isabeau said. You must find him a better one. If not, he will make you the sole object of his attention and become a liability. Your goddess will have no patience with you than mine did when I dithered and wasted her time. Which goddess is that? I was on thin ice already when it came to learning Isabeau's secrets, but I took the risk probing further. Nemesis. I was mute at the honor of being entrusted with such an important piece of information. I thought you might have guessed, Isabeau said, drawing the cloak of her mysterious origins around herself once more. That, too, is a tale for another day. Do not worry about Matthew. Be attentive to Rebecca and Philip, for they will have to adjust to your new power and priorities. This is a lesson best learned sooner in this family rather than later. Look after your own desires and needs. All de Clermont women must do so. If we left it to the men, we'd be ruined. And this is kind of where my theory from earlier kind of comes from, is that I think Isabeau has just worn the pants in the relationship this whole entire time. And I just grow to love her more. And that was the line that really preempted me to say, I need more. I need more Isabeau. I just need more Isabeau. Period. Like, this woman could write a how-to book and I would read it. And she's a character. But like I said, I just had a lot of moments in this book that were just absolutely beautiful. There's another one that I like. Diana's pointing at the Range Rover, and this is just this one had me cracking up, and it's marked in the blue tab, so it's very de Clermont-y. I pointed to the large black Range Rover. Of course it is, Julie shook her head. Vampires, conspicuously consumptive with no regard for the environment. And I just was like, and Diana she's like, I opened my mouth to defend Matthew's choice of vehicle. No, Julie cuts her the fuck off. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what we need. Call the vampires out on their overconsumptionism. I love it. But in truth, I just, getting back into this world has made me so happy, and I've missed it. I didn't realize how much I missed it until I started reading the book, and then I almost cried when I finished it. Like, Diana and Matthew's love story is to beat the horse and the freaking joke to death. It's a better love story than Twilight. And everyone knows anything is a better love story than Twilight. Matthew did in the spans of 3 books what Edward couldn't do in 4. 5 if you include Midnight Sun, which I include Midnight Sun. He grows so expansively. Not that Matthew's not a dynamic character in and of himself, and there's a lot of things I would really like to go back and like start with Philippe in the family and just have like branches of trees of books of this, like, not to be, beat the horse to death, as the adage goes, but like I would love to now have these spiral offs of let's have Baldwin's backstory with his ex. Let's have Philippe's full backstory and where he meets Isabeau, and then have their love story kind of tie in. I'd love to hear Gallowglass talking about being saved by Hugh and Fernando, and Hugh being his parents in the vampire sense of it all, because Gallowglass is still close to Fernando, and I love Fernando as a character and would love to learn more about him, about how him and Hugh fell in love. And there's the two sisters that we know nothing about, and Baldwin apparently has a vampire child who he's changed. He changed into a vampire, and I would love to have all this and understand more of this world. And that's from Deborah has done such a good job of painting this world and creating this world mixed in with our modern world that I would just love to have more. Like, I would love to have more of Marcus's storyline. I would love to have more of like I said, Matthew, the twins, and stuff like that. I would love to have it all, and I know we can't, but I want it. And I'm just gonna keep saying it until Deborah hears me and like clicks, or and one of the characters just says, okay, we're gonna give these people what they want. So this is staying on my bookshelf, obviously. I will be letting my paperbacks go as I replace them with my hardbacks, because I'm gonna get hardbacks of the other four. Because I got this one in hardback. It's not been released in paperback yet, so I've only got it in hardback, and because this is a series that I love, I will get it all in hardback. I tend to get series that I absolutely love all in hardback if I intend on keeping them, and this is one I thoroughly intend on keeping. So 10 out of 10, do recommend the book. Like I said, the pieces that I read, not really spoilers. I don't really think anything that I've said is a spoiler, really, other than like me not liking Daddy Proctor. But Diana really getting into touch and finding out some things that, again, really made me want to cry as I read this book. I go my babies a lot, and these are my babies, and I love them, and I really love, now that we've had the show series, other than the switch of Baldwin's actor for the last season, I can only picture all the actors from the show. Even if I am still mad at Steve for the comment that he made about the guy that they replaced Tristan with. Tristan was the perfect Baldwin. Might not have had the height, but he definitely had the Roman gladiator situation going on about him, persona-wise. In my opinion, he really embodied Baldwin well. I did not like the guy that they switched him with. He was too skinny. That might be my only comment, but he was not the Baldwin that like I've imagined. And Tristan, maybe if you gave him a few inches, definitely the Baldwin I would have pictured and chosen. So it's just, it's a series that I have fallen in love with, and I do want to do a deeper dive on all of them eventually, because I love talking the All Souls trilogy, so I would really like to kind of sit and do that and kind of side by side talk about it along with the show. So that is a content idea for the future, but I have been rambling far too long about this book for you guys, and I hope you all enjoy how rambly it was. Per usual, all the linkity schminkities are where they normally are, depending on what application you're on. If you're on TikTok, you got to find them somewhere else, either Instagram or YouTube. And if you're on YouTube or Instagram in bio, YouTube, they're down below as always. If you have a book that you want to recommend to me so that I can add it to my queue to read, please feel free to comment it down below. And if you have read either the All Souls trilogy or the Blackbird Oracle, and you want to put your comments and your 2 cents down in the comments, feel free to. But be warned, if you post spoilers, your comment will be removed. I'm sorry, that's just how I am. Your comment's going to get removed. So I hope you all enjoyed this one, even though I got a little rambly. And I'll see you all in the next video, because I am sure that now that I've gotten all caught up on reviews, I'm going to get started on some new fictionals and get y'all some more content out there. But thank you all for being amazing. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow in all the normal places. And if you really want to know when we're talking about books and what's coming up next, come join us in the Discord server. We have a lot of fun there sometimes. And yeah, do that. And I will see you guys in the next video.